All right, I'm back, and it's a day later, maybe it's even 2 days later, um, and my slabs here are leather hard enough. Let me just show you a example. They've also been sitting out. See it? When I hold it, you don't even need it this long. Even though it is this long, it's poured itself. It bends a little bit, but you don't want it completely dry. So I know it's ready to go. And for this part, I need these kind of templates. Let me show you the box again. And it's not quite right. In this case, I think this one's just a little bit longer than this, but I have two templates here, one for the front, back, and one for the side. And you're gonna need only two front and backs and two left and right sides. We're not gonna use this for the top and bottom yet. And I can't emphasize that enough. No matter how much I say we only need two of each of these, people always cut, four of these, and it's wrong. And I can show you why when we get to that point. But before we get started, I'm gonna kind of lay this out and see where I'm gonna cut out my pieces. In this case, I filled up the whole board with the two slabs, and a lot of you might not fill up the whole board, so then you kind of have to strategically place how you're gonna get at least, or two of these and two of these, and then some more for the top and bottom. And it looks like I can get them all out of this slab here. So I can just, if you need to kind of trace with your finger, there's one, and I'm gonna put my finger as a holder, and then there's two of them. And then I need two of these, one and two. I can actually get all of them out of just this one slab and save this one for the top and bottom. And it's gonna be plenty. I can even cut out some extra to show you the wrong way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to move my board off to the side and just work with the slabs. And you'll want to cover up the slab you're not working with, unless it still needs to get leather hard, but this is all ready to go, so I don't want to get any drier. If yours needs to get a little bit drier, then you can leave it out for a little bit. But I'm gonna move this one over here. Move this one back. Remember, it was like this. I'll just move it this way and maybe zoom in a little bit. All right, again, I want two of each of these. I'm also going to be using a good clay knife and some slip and a fork, just like this. I'm going to wash this off in the water real quick. Let that soften up a little bit. All right, two for the front and back. So these are pretty stiff here. As you can see, I'm holding it right there, and it's just bending a little bit. That's exactly where I want it to be in terms of its hardness. If these scraps are a little too dry, don't put them back in the soft clay recycling. Put them in the buckets of water that are on the floor in the clay processing room. And I need number two. I could put it right up against that edge, but I have enough that I don't need to. Okay, 1, 2. One. I'm actually going to use that edge right there. Make sure it's right up against there. Yeah, that one was kind of close, but I got it. Okay. All right. Now with my left side, right side, front and back. Going to kind of arrange it like this. Technically, you'd also arrange it like this, or even something kind of fancy like something like this. You can do any of those, but for now I'm just going to do a pretty simple one just because I want this joint here where it's gonna, I want that on the side so that the front is nice and clean, but it doesn't matter how you do it your own way. And so I don't have to have all these standing up at once. I'll just start with 2 parts. And you get that pretty close. It doesn't have to be exact. So I just want to mark where that's going to be. Mark this part too. Make sure that's flush. The 2 pieces are flush. Again, that's okay. I don't really need that one. I just need to mark where this one's going to hit. Just lightly mark where that's going to be. That flush. So I can't see it. There it is. All right. So I don't know if they're probably really hard to see, but I can barely see the lines here and here. And then I need to remember that this is the place where I'm going to score it. If I score it there, put it like that, it's not going to meet up correctly, right? So I got to make sure I orient it correctly. So I need to score here. Here, I'm just going to even mark where I need to be. Mark there, score there and there. And then, of course, it's this edge. So I'm going to score there and there. Now I'm going to go through and actually score it. That was just to show where it's going to be. So I'm actually supporting the slab while I score it so it doesn't get misshapen. You can also, let me zoom out, hold it on the edge of your board so that it supports it there, and score it this way. That one's ready. So it gives a nice score there. Now I need to do there and there. Zoom back in. I'll put that there. Okay, I've got all my, I want to make sure I score all my parts first, because let's say I score this and stick them together, slip them together, and then I haven't scored this part yet or this part, then I'm going to be I'll be struggling trying to score it and trying to not let this fall apart at the same time. So that's why I'm doing all my scoring first. Okay, now also, while I have it up here, some people like to, they'll put slip here and here, then they'll stick it on like this, and hope it stays while they go and work on the other parts. But in that time, usually, if it's balanced perfectly, okay, but if it's just a little bit off and you start moving it, then this will fall off and it'll break. So once I put the slip on it, I'll be standing it up so it can just support itself. All right, for that I'll use a spoon and use plenty of slip. If your piece has got a little bit too leather hard, just a little bit too leather hard, you can, well, first of all, if it's too leather hard, you can wrap the pieces back up in very damp paper towel and wrap it in plastic and come back to the next class and see if it's softer. But if it's just a little bit too hard, one thing you can do is, after you do your scoring, is apply the slip and just let it stay there for like 10-15 minutes, and the moisture from the slip will soak into the clay slab and kind of soften it up. If it's too dry and you put slip in here, like usual, and stick them together, the dry clay will draw out the water from the slip and it'll end up cracking right there. So pay attention to how much moisture is in your clay. Maybe I'll just put a little bit here. All right, then I'll stick them together. That extra slip's fine. Just gonna wipe it away anyways. Get the sponge from the bucket. I just have this nearby to clean my hands off. All right, I'm gonna check this, make sure it came apart. That's fine, I need to stick it together. But I wanna make sure that that's flush. Here, I'll also put some slip on here. All right. Just cleaning up a little bit of extra slip. And just make sure my surface is a little bit cleaner. So now I got the four sides, front, back, left and right side. And I need to do the top and bottom now. And notice that I didn't cut two more of these, because if I did, it probably wouldn't fit quite right. And if you cut them out first and then you're off by just a little bit when you're attaching it, it won't look right. So let me get the other slab. And you want to attach it while it's attach it to the slab. You know, it doesn't have to be this huge, but as long as it's bigger than what you really need. that's what you want. So I'm going to just set it on here and just lightly, either with a needle or your knife, even the back of the knife. It's a little bit duller, but I'm just gonna lightly outline the outside. And I'm gonna have to get a needle out anyways to cut the outside, or I could use the knife. Oh, and also trace the inside. This is so we can mark where we need to score it. And we have that there. If you remember to do so, actually I need to, let me just show you what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing my, see the little, it's kind of pulling apart. It wasn't quite enough for me to just push them together. So I need to kind of blend it together. So I'm using this tool here, it's like a fingertip. Just gonna break some of the dry clay off of it. And I need to come in here and blend it in. And I'm gonna need to do it all the way around. This clay actually is maybe a little bit drier than it could be, but that's fine. It's gonna take a little bit more effort to blend it in. Let's take a look at that. Let's blend it in. And I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. You can see it didn't quite stick. I'm just doing some light smoothing. I can do more after I get these attached. So I got one side marked. I'm gonna do the other side. And if you forget to do this, that's okay. This part right here, to trace it, because you can just estimate how much you need to score it. But if you remember, you can do both the inside outside and see exactly where to score it. All right, so back to scoring. Get them a little bit deeper. I'll just put the slip on it now so we can have some time to soak in there. bend this back to square. Whoops. I'll lift this up just a little bit. All right, I can't quite reach in there or to clean that out with my actual fingertip. So I'm gonna use this fingertip tool. That guy, well, maybe I should clean that a little bit. Let me see. I'm gonna have a sponge and some water, and this part's getting a little bit dry, so I'm just gonna dab it. And you don't want to wipe your clay with the sponge because it'll wipe away the fine particles and leave behind the rough ones. So if you need to just, in this case, get some water on it, just dab it. And I'm gonna try to clean out some of that slip in there. And I'm gonna wring it out the sponge really well. And again, I'm just gonna dab the inside. And if the bottom's not perfect, that's okay. But that's pretty good. As long as there's not some huge amount of slip in there. And I'll just do this a little bit. Dab these corners so I can blend them a little bit better. And here you can either use the knife or a needle. Since these sides are so straight, this knife should be fine. And you don't want to just cut it right through in one pass, the way you did these. It's okay to just take a couple passes, or more than that, as many as you need. Really small, light passes. still not all the way through. That's fine. You know what, while I'm waiting here, I'm gonna, again, just to get a very lightly damp sponge. Just sponge this. Hopefully I won't completely erase the marks I made, but just the slab seems like it's getting a little bit dry. All right, back to this. That one's kind of giving me problems in that direction. Maybe I come at it this way. Okay, I sort of felt the board underneath on that pass, on part of it at least. All the way through there. We come out this way again. All the way through there. All the way through there. No, this isn't even centered. Oh, I'm not gonna move it. All right, let's see. Take a look at this. All right, and it wouldn't hurt to, I don't see any big gaps coming out, but if there were some, you can always just go through again and can you see that blend these together. For now, I really don't see any. Oh, here's some that I might blend together. It really wouldn't hurt to go all the way around it. Is that even on camera? Okay, again, I'm gonna dab that and that. Now I can score. Is that on camera? Kind of. Oops, let me score this. Is that on camera? All right, as you can see, this other side needs a lot of trimming, and that's fine. And I think I'll do that next time. So when you wrap up your piece, well, let me see if there's anything I need to like blend in. I think it looks pretty good. A little bit soft right there. Again, you don't want your piece to dry out before we're gonna clean it up first before we cut the top. So I'm going to get enough paper towel. I'm just gonna wrap the sides. I don't want to wrap over the top because we don't want this to soften up and slump inward. My tile here. I just need enough paper so it won't stick to the tile. My damp paper towel here. Get these dry parts. And just wrap up the sides. And one plastic bag. And 2 plastic bags. All right, in the next video, we'll clean off scrape up all the extra clay around the corners before we cut the top.